Welcome to this Liberty of the Seas tour video. I'm going to take you through the majority of the public areas on the ship. This video was taken in June 2026, so it's post her refit, which was in spring of 2026. So without further ado, let's tour the ship. So we start on deck 2. This is deck 2 forward, so the Freedom class ships and the Voyager class ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet, there's actually no way on decks 2 and 3 to get from one end of the ship to the other. So you have to go up the stairs along the at least deck 4 and back down again. So on deck 2 forward we've got the crown and anchor desk here. Which is usually manned during the day. We've got a little seating area here, which looks quite comfortable. There are staterooms on this deck. The majority of them would be ocean view staterooms. We've got another lift lobby there, and the stateroom corridor would be here. So, as I say, no way to get to the centrum of the ship or to the other end of the ship. We can see the corridor terminates at the end. As a part-time wheelchair user myself, I just want to point out another use of deck 2. So for the majority of ports, the main gangway was on deck 4. Now this could be quite steep. However, they did put on deck 2 an accessible gangway, and that would be accessed by going down this corridor here. So I actually utilised deck 2 quite a bit when I had my wheelchair and power attachment attached to it. More than wide enough and quite accessible indeed, which is good to know. So here we are back in the lift. One feature of Royal Caribbean ships, I don't know if other cruise lines do it, but you always get the day of the week in the lift, which they do update quite promptly. So we're going up now to deck 4 forward. So I only filmed the forward part of deck 2. Because the aft part is the centrium. There's not anything there really, but here on deck 3 we've got the theatre, the Platinum Theatre on Liberty of the Seas, which has all the Broadway shows and headline acts. Got the stairs there up to deck 4. When we get to the entrance on deck 4, I'll show you a glimpse of the theatre. More lifts on this side. And more passenger staterooms. So again, these would be ocean view mainly. So as a part-time wheelchair user, again, the toilet's being accessible is quite important to me, so we'll have a look at a random one, and it's going to be this one. So all the doors have these switches on them to open them. I must say some work and some didn't. She is quite an old ship. I'm not sure if that was a feature that she was built with, but yeah, some don't work, which is not ideal. Then you've got these buttons again on the inner doors, so there's always a disabled cubicle within the main toilet. You can see they are always logically placed, as you can see there. Then that will open the disabled cubicle door, and there we go. Most of the disabled cubicles within the toilets are this sort of size, perfectly fine. One thing that I did notice is there is no pull cord, which is not great if you get into trouble. So just one thing to bear in mind. But largely perfectly adequate for someone like themselves who's able to go to the toilet independently. It was not an issue. I'm also able to open and close doors whilst I'm in the wheelchair with no problem, which I think you probably would need to do if you were going to go to the toilet independently on the ship. So we're now on a bit of a jump there. We're now on deck 3 aft. So we've just come out of the dining room and we're in the Centrium, the aft Centrium with the lifts either side of me, which I'm just walking through now. And here we have an art gallery. So they call it an art gallery. It's an open space where they display artwork for the art auctions that they do on board. So moving further back, we've got, before we get to Studio B, which is the ice skating venue on board, we go through the excursions area and also the photo gallery, where you can buy your photographs from the cruise. We had a sort of pop-up store here where you can take a picture of your iris and turn that into art, which is an interesting idea. On the left we have the photo desk, and that's also shared with the Shores Excursions desk on this ship. And here's Studio B, which is the ice skating venue on board. So this is used for the ice skating show, which is an absolutely fantastic show on Liberty of the Sea called Boots and Blades. Also used for other as another venue during the day, and also used for all skates, which is where anyone can come and have a go ice skating. So we've gone up to deck 4 forward now. And we're gonna have a little look outside. So forward part of the ship, and I'm just by the theatre, but let's go outside first and we'll have a look at the theatre afterwards. So you can see, taken quite early in the morning here. And there we have the main lifeboat deck. So on the Freedom and Voyager class ships of Royal Caribbean, that does wrap all the way around. You are able to walk all the way around it, which is pretty cool. And we're going to head up here to the bow of the ship. So this is one of the few classes of Royal Caribbean ship where you can actually go up onto the bow. So up we go, up the stairs at the forward of deck 4, which takes us technically onto deck 5. And then we'll head forward from there onto the helipad at the front of the ship. So just to the right of me here would be the Star Lounge, which is sort of a general venue, entertainments lounge on deck 5. We'll have a look at shortly. So here we go, heading forward. So this part of the ship is closed when it's windy. So you saw the gate there, which they pull across when it's too windy to go up onto the forward of the ship. I had to go back to film this segment so we can see what it looks like at the front. It's quite impressive. It's one of my favourite spaces on the ship, this is. So there's the front of the superstructure and the bridge, and we're looking back down from where we've come from. And as you can see, you can walk all the way around the outer deck and heading up onto the helipad here. So some excellent views here and a great place to be when the ship's coming into or going out of port. So there's our superstructure again with the bridge at the top. That in itself is quite spectacular. I do find these ships pretty impressive, and I do like seeing the front of it like this. Quite a unique perspective. Interestingly, you can see that these railings could be lowered if they did have to use the helipad for a helicopter. And there we go all the way to the front of the ship. And could have a little Titanic moment too, should you feel the need. So here we are back down the bottom of the stairs now on the lifeboat deck on deck 4. So looking down there again, and we're going to head back inside. So to my left now will be the Platinum Theatre, the upper part of the Platinum Theatre, and there it is. A pretty unique view there from the stage, and here we are on the upper level of the theatre. So quite an impressive venue, and as I say, this is where all the headliner shows are held, as well as the main entertainment by the Royal Caribbean Entertainment Team. So must have been a bit of a rough day there. The sick bag's all out. So just looking towards the back of the ship there. So we're forward at the forward stairs, looking back. And we're going to head around and look at the rest of deck 4. So just coming up in front of us now is Azumi. So on this ship you've got sushi and hibachi as well. So 2 options there. It was closed at this early hour in the morning, but you can see both offerings there, hibachi and sushi. And here, just outside Azumi, we have the Schooner Bar. So this is a nice venue just to relax. You can see the piano there. They have a lot of quizzes in here and activities. So it's a little bit of a hub of the ship. It's quite a popular venue. Nice place just to sit down and relax and take in the atmosphere. So now heading towards the rear of the Schooner Bar. So this is heading towards the back of the ship as well. So as you can see, it's quite a large venue. And as we head towards the back of the Schooner Bar, we're heading into the casino. So the casino on Liberty of the Seas is a big one. There's, to my knowledge, a casino on all the Royal Caribbean ships, but this one is particularly large. There's a section towards the back that we'll see in a moment that is a sports bar on some other ships, or certainly on Independence of the Seas, but on this one it's an extension to the casino. So just to my left here is the casino bar, and we can see lots of different machines. Staircase there up to the Royal Promenade, which we'll see shortly. That's on deck 5. There we go, quite a large venue as I say, and a lot of slot machines. This was very early in the morning, so it's very quiet or empty as you can see, but later on in the day this gets completely full. So just pointing out here, so this doorway on some of the ships or on Independence of the Seas is where the casino stops. So this is an extra bit of casino compared to some of the other Royal Caribbean ships. So quite a bit larger on this one than some others. So as well as slot machines, we have a few game tables. So I'm no expert in casinos or gambling, so I don't know what any of them are other than roulette, but there's a number of different tables, as we can see just going through some of the stills here. And this is all staffed by professional dealers in the day. So heading out of the casino, we're in the aft atrium now, or the aft centrium. So above us would be the Royal Promenade. There we have Boleros, which is Latin theme bar. A lot of live music takes place there, quite a nice venue, especially on these ships where it's quite open, as you see, and opens into the centrium. We've got a Starbucks there. That's a paid for Starbucks. Cafe Promenade, which is Royal Caribbean's own coffee shop, is on the deck above, and that gives complimentary coffee. The Starbucks on this deck is a paid for one, just like a regular Starbucks. I'm just pointing out the restaurant there, right at the back of the ship. So the restaurant's 3 tiers and stretches across 3 decks. As a reminder, we're on deck 4 here, so that'll be the middle tier of the dining room. So just a bit of a close-up of Boleros here. So there's the live music space and the bar there. As you can see, quite a nice setting, and that's a Latin bar. Lots of Latin themed music there. Rather a nice venue. So here we are now. We've gone up onto deck 5, and this is actually deck 5 forwards. This is the Star Lounge. So this is a lounge where they have various entertainments, lectures, or just a place to relax. Quite a nice space, quite a large space. Right at the front of the ship on deck 5. See a stage at the front. Here we have an escape room. So that's one of the few areas that I didn't get any footage of inside, but there's an escape room there. And we're looking now towards the back of the ship again. So we're right forward looking back, and we're heading back now. So there's the Royal Promenade and the forward centrium. We can just see the schooner bar down below, just for orientation, and we're looking up the centrium there towards the top of the ship. So heading on around now, and we'll have a good old look at the Royal Promenade. So there we have Sorrento's, which is the pizza venue. So that's open from about midday until late, serving up 3 slices of pizza and other food. So I've noticed that they tend to do food that's suited to where the ship happens to be, so, or where the ship happens to go from at least. So they do pies, for example, when it goes out of the UK. So that's quite a nice touch. Got the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines we just saw to the left there. Should you have the soda package, you can fill up there. There's a little chip on the bottom of the cup they give you, and that'll allow you to use those machines. So I've got port shopping desk there. Perfume shop right ahead now. And there's the English pub. So there's the Hoof and Claw on this ship. They've all got their own names. So English style pub. Nice place to sit and relax, and they do have live music in there. And certainly on some of the ship's food, they do sort of bar snacks in there. Don't know if that's every ship, but most certainly on some of them. Got Vintages there, which is the wine bar. Again, nice place to sit and relax, take in the atmosphere of the promenade. Quite a nice space. And that's the logo shop for all your Royal Caribbean merchandise. So continuing to head aft. Got Morgan there. Our car, I'm not sure if all the Freedom class ships have them, but certainly Independence of the Seas has got a blue one of these, which is a nice touch, and they've put the bears in there to stop people sitting in them. Got the jewellery store there, and across the way the general store, so for any essentials. Also got certainly some duty free in there, cigarettes, alcohol, but also essentials that you might have forgotten, toiletries and things like that. Just ahead and to the left now we can see the ice cream parlour, so that is paid for. There is free ice cream on board, but that's on the higher deck further up. This is paid for ice cream in here, not included. And this is Cafe Promenade that I mentioned earlier, so this is the Royal Caribbean's own coffee shop, and this does have the free coffee as well as premium coffees as well, should you want one of those instead. Got a cupcake store here. They also do cupcake decorating there, and we've got a clothing shop here selling various bits of clothing and fashion items. And there's the next cruise. So we're heading towards the aft centrum now. There's guest services, so this can get very busy. I'd say this is a little bit of a flaw with these ships, the older ships, and because it's sort of in the Royal Promenade, it can get very busy there. Just to the right of me was the R bar, which is another bar. The centrum, again, quite a nice space. And we're just going across the bridge now into the aft centrum. And this is quite often closed in the evening, this bridge. They do a lot of photographs there. Imagine it's quite a nice photograph with the Royal Promenade in the back whilst being on the bridge, so that's rather nice. And we're heading back towards the dining room now. So we're on deck 5, so this would be the top level of the dining room. So this is your main dining. So breakfast or brunch can be in here, depending on whether it's a port day or a sea day. And of course, the all-important dinner. So there's the top tier of the dining room. And that would have, as well as this tier, a middle tier and the bottom tier. So we're on deck 9 now, just to have a little peek at the library. So this is largely staterooms on this deck. So all we're going to have a look at is the library. Not much of a library, I'm afraid. So we've just got a few chairs here. You can see the signage there. Quite a nice place to sit actually, so it looks out on the Royal Promenade, so it's quite a pleasant way to sit and maybe have a read. And this is the book collection, so 2 bookshelves, very sparsely loaded with books there. And that's it, that's the library.
So while it's quiet,
So we're up now on deck 11 towards the aft of the ship. So there's the aft stairs that we'd have come up from deck 9. And this is the Windjammer. So this is the included buffet. We'll head on in to have a look. So after we've washed our hands, which is essential, we'll head in. So this was taken quite early in the morning, so at off-peak times they only use one side of the Windjammer, but both sides are identical. So we can see it roped off there, and I'm just looking towards Giovanni's, which is the Italian premium restaurant. And here we've got Chops Grill, which is the premium steakhouse. So these are available for an extra fee, should you wish to book that. So there's Chops Grill, separate from the rest of the Windjammer, and rather nice for that special meal, should you wish to pay the premium price tag. So just having a look around the Windjammer now. So seating off to my right and quite a nice view out to sea, and we've got various stations for the various different foods. So this was breakfast time, but quite a variety there, as we can see. And that was me almost walking into the post. There you go, coffee all laid out. And we're heading to the aft end of the Windjammer, so it wraps around the back of the ship, which is rather nice. And again, we've got various stations with different foods. I'd say pretty much something for everybody. So here's the aft seating area. So pretty quiet at this time in the morning. I didn't dwell there because people are eating their breakfast. But it gives you an overview there of the Windjammer, and the other side would be identical. So this time in the morning only the one side was open, but the other side would be identical at peak times. They have both open, of course. So stepping back out of the Windjammer, we turn around and we're looking forward now. So at the back of the ship, sort of looking forwards, this is the aft Centrium. And we're going to go and have a look outside. So heading outside, the first thing we come to is El Loco Fresh, which was new to this ship at time of filming. It had been fitted in the refit, I believe. This is an included complimentary restaurant, quick service, that serves Mexican food. So open from about midday. I know certainly some days it was 1 o'clock that it opened. But quite nice, certainly serving burritos, nachos, and other Mexican fare. So rather nice. Up on the pool deck. And here we've got the kids pool area. So this was taken early in the morning, deliberately. It's closed at this point, just to give you an overview of what it looks like. We're looking up there at the Viking Crown Lounge and a bar called the Olive and Twist, which we'll have a look at shortly. So there's the kids splash area, and we're going to head further back. We can see plenty of seating on the left hand side there. So that serves the Mexican food outlet, and also if you just want to have a sit down and relax. So here we've got the main pool deck with the main pool. So there's a number of spa pools, which I'll give you an overview of shortly. So there's one, and there's another one. As you can see, plenty of sunbeds. So I found on this ship it was relatively easy to find a sunbed even on sea days. So the solarium would get quite full, but you generally find one on the pool deck. Maybe not prime spot where I am now, but you'd get something. So here's the main pool, rather nice, with the shallow part there with the sort of beds in. There you go, and there's a screen outside as well, so they show movies on that during the day and at night. And we got the pool bar, which is the lime and coconut on this ship. I believe this was renovated as well as part of the refit earlier in the year. So nice swing chairs there, which I think are a nice touch. So you can have a sit at the bar and have a swing at the same time, should you wish to do so. And there's an overview of the pool deck there, so quite a few spa pools there. And we're heading forward now into the solarium. So the solarium is the adults only area, but a bit of an issue or design oversight on this ship is that the solarium, despite being adults only, is actually a bit of a through fare. So you need to go through there to get from the front to the back of the ship. Certainly on this deck, so you do have everyone walking through, so maybe not as relaxing as it could be on later ships such as the Quantum class. The solarium's at the front, so it's much easier to enforce adults only, but still a nice space. So here we've got the cantilevered spa pools. So this is a feature of the Freedom class ships. So Freedom of the Seas, Liberty of the Seas and Independence of the Seas, and those are really nice. Sitting there on a nice sunny day looking out the seas, rather nice. In the middle of the solarium we've got the solarium pool, which is split into two. So we've got a pool for swimming and a pool just for sort of relaxing. So there we go, the bridge is the divider there. So we've got the pool for swimming, and forward of that is just sort of a pool for relaxing and standing around and just enjoying being in the water. We've got the solarium bar there with a friendly barman, which is nice. And that's one thing I'll say about this ship, the crew were absolutely fantastic. I mean, they're fantastic on all Royal Caribbean ships, and I've been on a few now, but they really were standout on Liberty of the Seas, I must say. So, heading forward, again, plenty of sunbeds. I found that the solarium did fill up, but you could usually get one of these beds towards the side, maybe not in the middle where the sun is, but if you fancy a bit more shade, like I do, you could usually get a bed here. There you go, and just having a look out there, nice view of the ocean as we go along. I also find that the solarium is quite a nice place to sit in the evening. So I do sit here and read quite often. It's one of my sort of favourite spots in the evening to just sit, relax. It's usually quite quiet and just enjoy a good book. So heading inside now. So here we are back in the forward atrium. Again, we're on deck 11 as a reminder. And just here we have the gym. So I didn't go in there because it was always busy, but it's quite a nice gym. Looks out over the front of the ship, wrap around around the front. Quite a nice space and quite big, plenty of equipment in there. So we're up now on deck 12. This is deck 12 forward, so directly above where we just were. We've got cabins there, so that corridor will go to some of the panoramic cabins at the front of the ship, which are rather nice. Very good view. We've got the spa here, so again I didn't explore that, but that's the spa, which is a paid for spa, so if you want a treatment that is an extra cost. Quite a range of treatments that they offer, and again I'd imagine something for everyone. So heading outside now. I actually struggled filming this deck because for quite a lot of this cruise, deck 12 was actually closed due to the high winds. So on a lot of the sea days, it was rather windy and they did close this deck. So this was taken while we were coming into a port, I believe Bilbao, making our approach. So we can see the land out there. So here we are. This is the top of the cantilever whirlpools that I showed you. So they are actually open at the top, so that keeps them nice and cool. As I say, they're rather pleasant, rather nice place to relax. Plenty of sub beds up here, and we've got the running track which gets good use. On the top deck, again, something that was added later to the ship, I'm not sure exactly when, is the casitas. So these can be hired for an additional cost. They're cheaper on port days than they are on sea days. But yeah, you get the use of the private casita. I believe you get some drinks. They're not unlimited, but you get some drinks and snacks. There's also USB and mains charging in there, as can be seen. So plenty of seating around on deck 12. And we've got a bar there and plenty of seating to go with it. So it's quite a nice place to sit out when it's sunny. Often has a bit of an atmosphere. Sometimes have a Caribbean band playing, rather tropical. Could be seen by the colours as well. So we're continuing aft. We can see the funnel and the Viking crown there, which is the windows that you can see just below the funnel. So more casitas. The only problem with the casitas on these older ships, and I have been on one of the Icon class, which are designed for the casitas. There's much more room and they're sort of out of the way. I do feel they're a little bit on the way on the older ships. So I've been on this ship, Liberty, and Independence, which have both got casitas, and it does make the certainly the running track a little bit tight. Not overly so. You can see it's tight anyway without those, but yeah, I do feel that they're a little bit tight. So the nameplate there, Liberty of the Seas, and we're continuing aft. So just in there where that windbreak is, just to my right now would be the aft centrium. We're going to carry on. One of the reasons that I've had to voice over this video, I am actually commentating as I'm filming, but these exterior parts you would not hear. So I'm a technical person, I'm just pointing out now that that's where I believe the air intakes to be for the engines. So I'm very engineering minded. I like anything like that. So just going through the windbreaks there, continuing aft, and it's quite a relief when you get to these windbreaks on this deck. You'd have been blown around up until this point, and it's yeah, quite a relief when the wind is suddenly blocked. So round another windbreak we go, and here we are at Johnny Rockets, which again is an additional charge should you wish to dine here. And there's the menu if you want to pause the video and have a look. As I say, an additional charge, and we've got outdoor seating here, and there is also seating inside as well. So continuing aft, got table tennis tables here. So I didn't actually see anyone using these, so I'm not sure where you get the bats from. I would imagine they're probably in the vicinity somewhere, but I didn't see them. And just in this door here, with the very official looking sign, is the arcade. So there was a full arcade. So I nearly missed this. This was actually taken on sort of early evening. As you can see, it's very, very quiet, so I'm not sure how much use it got. But it's a fairly extensive arcade. Quite a few different things there. That goes on to the kids club, so it seems to be attached to the kids club for obvious reasons. I did not film in there.
But I can hear kids screaming and shouting, so yeah, I would say it is. There you go. Full on arcade. Of course, the flying game.
Quite a range of games in there. I believe that you can either pay on the day using your CPass card, or you can buy a bundle of game credit in advance. I didn't use it, so I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that you've got either option. So sunbeds towards the back of the ship. Imagine this is quite a nice place to sit out. And we can see the wake there as we go along. Now, Liberty of the Seas is interesting in that deck 12 you're not able to go all the way round the ship, so you'll see very shortly that this deck stops abruptly. So I believe that this is due to some cabins, extra cabins that they've added. I'm not sure when these were added. So we can see here that the deck ends fairly abruptly, and if we sort of look over the side of the ship, which we'll do shortly, we can see that there's some additional cabins there. Again, not sure when these were added, but I'm fairly sure that on Independence of the Seas you can walk all around that deck. So there's the additional cabins there. So some windows in the side of the ship for additional cabins. And a good view over the side of the ship there. So I quite like these Freedom class ships. There are quite a lot of sort of overhangs where you can get a good view down the ship. So here we are back at the very back of the ship. You can see the wake there. The ship's going much quicker this time than it was earlier. It's quite obviously a sea day where we're motoring along. And we're going to go up and have a look at the sports deck. So we'll head up the stairs here. And at the top of the stairs we have the sports deck. So this is technically deck 13. We have the Flowrider at the back there. So that's the surfing simulator fitted to a lot of the newer Royal Caribbean ships, quite a lot of them. So as you can see, I'm pointing out there, the water's blasted upwards over the curve and simulates surfing. So I don't know an awful lot about surfing, but it looks pretty fun. So heading up next to the Flowrider, you can see the water slides above me. So quite a few different water slides available there. So we'll have a closer look in a moment. So there's an overview of the Flowrider, and we've also got a seat in there so you can sit and watch it, which can be quite amusing. And there's the water slides right above where I'm standing there, and we can just see to my left the exit of the water slide, which is there. And just to my right we can sort of see the stairway inside a glass tower, so that heads up to the water slides, so that's how you access them. So as I say, just to my left now is the runoff for the water slides, and ahead of me with the netting around is the sports court. So this is set up for basketball at the moment, but I've seen them, oh no, actually it's set up for tennis. There we can see the tennis nets, but it can also be used for basketball and a number of other sports. I'm just pointing out there another water slide. So this is one where you sit in a little rubber ring and you go up that curve, as can be seen there. See the climbing wall on the back of the funnel. And there's that water slide there. I believe that's a new one to Liberty of the Seas. It looked rather new. I know the other ones have been there for a while, and we can see there the rings that you go down that one on. And we're up here now in the Viking Crown, as it's called. So this is the Olive and Twist bar. So this is that glassed area around the base of the funnel of the ship. This is rather a nice area, so nice bar there. Believe it comes a nightclub at night time as well. But this is a nice place to sort of sit and relax and take in the views. Really nice space, and you see a lot of people up here working as well, sort of on their laptops. So I was just looking towards the Crown Lounge there, which is where the Hexagon sign was, and we've just come inside. So this is available for Crown and Anger members, which are Diamond and above. Nice little space for relaxing. Does get very, very busy. Also a buffet breakfast available in here in the mornings, and refreshments later on in the day. So we can see the breakfast spread there. This was taken pretty early in the morning, so nice continental breakfast spread. And as I say, this is available for Crown and Anchor, Diamond and above. So from deck 14 we've come up another set of stairs up to what will be deck 15, which is as high as you can go on the ship. And this is where the chapel is. So quite a nice area up here, quite small, but it was very noisy, so it's just in front of the exhausts, and was quite a noisy place. So here's a little bit of the original audio, and this sound was just there all the time. But nonetheless, quite a nice little space, used as a meeting room, as you can see there. Now, a lot of the Royal Caribbean ships of this class were built with this, but I know certainly on some of them, definitely on Independence of the Seas, this is now used as an escape room. So I think this is one of the few with the chapel left. So quite a nice little space there. As I say, quite small, but rather pleasant little space. I believe can be used for weddings. And that's the end of my tour of Liberty of the Seas. Thank you very much for watching.